fourth day of Vlogmas. We are just heading out, and as you can maybe hear, Jack is having a tantrum. And yes, he is 7 and having a tantrum. This is quite a common occurrence. But anyway, we are heading over. We're heading over one village across, and it's a lovely little village. It's got a big green in the middle with a pond and a playground and 2 really beautiful pubs and a military cemetery that's really, really beautiful to walk around. So we're heading over there to meet some family and do that, and I will bring you along with us, hopefully without any more tantrums. Sunday evening now. We've had a really busy day. We went and met my father-in-law, stepmother-in-law, sister-in-law and niece for a walk, one village over from ours. and then we went to the pub afterwards for some lunch. I actually had to leave early with Johnny because he had given up the will and the food hadn't arrived yet, and basically it was it wasn't going to be fun for anybody, so we actually left a bit early, but it was still a really, really lovely day. And babies are just unpredictable like that, aren't they? They kind of have their limit and then it's game over. But yeah, it's a really, really nice village. There's actually a walk, which is what we did, that goes through a military cemetery, which is just beautiful and peaceful and just a really, really nice place to go. And my sister-in-law and father-in-law are both really, really into history, so they found it really, really interesting. So yeah, it was very nice. And then Sunday's just kind of, Sunday afternoon has just passed by in a bit of a, you know, blur, but I baked some cookies. I use this book. So this is called Biscuiteers, and they've got a few different books, but they are like boutique cafe places. There's one in Clapham near where I used to live, and they are so beautiful. But you can also just buy their cookies as like gifts and stuff. I'll show you some of the pictures in here. So they're kind of like works of art, really. They are so, so cute, and they have all these different themes. So I like these ghosts. I am not very good at decorating. I love this gingerbread house. I think that would just be, I'd just love to make that. But yeah, so I've just baked a batch of the allspice biscuits. There's also vanilla ones and chocolate ones, and then it's they all use the same icing. And then in this book, it's got kind of instructions on how to apply the icing. And I love this. I thought that's so cute, the gardening themed ones. I mean, they are just gorgeous. They're so gorgeous. I just am not. And some Christmas nutcrackers here. I'm not a natural, but I would like to get better at doing them. There's also a cake in here where it's decorated with, oh, here it is. I think that would be so pretty on the Christmas cake. But yeah, so, which I need to feed, and I don't have any brandy. So I was going to feed it with sherry, but then Jan drank all the sherry. So I need to get brandy tomorrow because he won't drink all the brandy. Well, he hasn't before. So anyway, yeah, so I will ice those. Not as fancy. Mine are just what I call iced cinnamon stars, which we actually have a yarn called that. But I will just ice them and do some little silver balls and stuff. I'm not going to attempt anything too fancy because they don't last very long in this house anyway. I do add extra spice as well to my dough because I don't find this spicy enough. I like my spicy cookies like really punchy. So yes, I did that. And oh, I've also been looking through a couple of books because I've got a couple of books on mittens, and I want to make, I'm not going to say who, some mittens. And I was trying to pick one from one of these books, and there's just so many. It's a bit, you kind of get a bit of overwhelm. I've also got a load of mittens in my Ravelry library. I went through a phase where I just was determined I was going to knit all the mittens, and then I didn't knit any. But yeah, so I've got this book called Mittens from Norway, and I just was looking through. I think basically all of the patterns in both these books are the more traditional 4-ply. But I think one of the ones, I think the Selbu mitten pattern, which I have in my Ravelry library, is a DK. I think these ones might be a DK as well. Actually, so maybe I was wrong about the 4-ply, but all the rest I'm pretty sure were 4-ply. Those are actually really, really beautiful. But there's so many gorgeous ones. I think the one, which book is it? I really like those ones on the back. And I really like that strength of blue with the white. I think that's really pretty. But there's one pair in here. I think they're the reason I bought this book, and then my friend Deborah knit them. I think for her mother, I can't remember now, but she knit them as a gift. And they're just so beautiful. Oh, where are they? Maybe they're in the other book. Sorry, I got my books muddled up. I think they're in the other book. No, here they are. I love those ones. Yeah, so anyway, I've been sitting getting confused about which mittens to knit. This one, I believe, is... I think these are basically more or less all the same shape, and it's just that the charts are interchanged. So the patterns you create on them are different. Those are super cute, aren't they? I really like those. And I really like those ones too. But yeah, there's just so many. I love colourwork stuff like this. So yeah, I've been perusing through those this afternoon and have made no decisions. Someone asked yesterday what I was wrapped up in. What you couldn't see is that I was wrapped up in that shawl, and I also had a hot water bottle, a blanket, and 2 dogs on me because it was so cold when we got home. But what I was wearing was my Polesden wrap. So last Advent I released the Polesden wrap and scarf pattern. So it's one pattern, but it's got the wrap and the scarf. This is the wrap version, and that one is done with Advent minis. So it's got 20, I think it's 23 mini skeins of fingering weight yarn, and it's all held with brushed Suri alpaca yarn, which is why it's got the halo all the way through, and it looks quite thick. It's on a 5mm needle, so it is a little bit more of a chunky one, and I just keep it on the back of my armchair in there, and I kind of use it as a shawl / blanket because it is just so warm and thick and snuggly. I would quite like to make another one and make it even wider, because this didn't use up all of the skein, so I might work out how much wider I could make it and still have it the same length. It actually could even be a bit more square, a bit shorter and a bit wider. But anyway, it's yeah, super cozy and warm. The scarf is not held with the brushed Suri alpaca. It's done all in either fingering weight, so you can just do a full advent calendar, so it's all colourful, or what I've done here, which is every alternate band is done with the brushed Suri alpaca, so that you get those contrasting stripes. And because it's just the one strand of fingering weight yarn and it's on a smaller needle, it collapses down. It's much more of a scarf. So yes, that's what I was wearing yesterday. And speaking of advents, I'm just going to open day 4 of my advent, which is our dandelion advent. So let's see what it is. So our advent calendar is all based on roses. So it was called Sending Christmas Roses, and each of the colourways are inspired by a different rose, a lot of which we have between my sister and then my mum as well has some of the ones we don't. But we all grow roses and love them a lot. So it features a lot of the ones we have. This is Boscobel, which I do have. It is a rose my best friend Jules gave me. So she gave it to me for my birthday, I think 2 years ago. And it's a really warm peachy pink, and it's beautiful. It's got quite a, it's one of those roses where as it opens, it gets more different colours. The light in here is not showing the yarn at all accurately, but get the idea. It's got goldy stamens in the middle, hence the goldiness in the yarn. But yes, so that one's possible. I haven't quite decided 100% what I'm going to do with this year's advent. I am toying with a blanket version of that, a bit, like I said, a bit wider, but I'm also currently working on a crochet blanket which would work. It's all pink so far, so it would work with the advent calendar beautifully, and it's a linen stitch crochet blanket, so it creates quite a tight weave and it kind of looks woven. It's a really interesting crochet stitch, so I might pop them into that. I haven't quite decided, so I'm still mulling it over basically. But yeah, so that is day 4. and I am going to go and do story time. So I will catch in with you guys tomorrow.